So we've been living full-time in this tiny camper for about a month now, and we made quite a few changes since the original tour video, so I thought I'd show you guys around and give you a new tour of our Scamp. Okay, so we'll start over here in the back of the camper towards the bed area. We keep this as a bed the full time. However, you can set up a table here and turn it into a pretty big dinette. We just don't use it a lot because it's kind of more of a pain to take out and put back up and down every time we want to use it. The bed itself is the cushions of that dinette, and then the previous owners installed this pretty, I would say about 2-inch thick memory foam, kind of like mattress that they put over it. And that is what we use as our bedding, and it does keep us nice and comfy at night. And then above the bed here, we have a few cabinets. We have one on each side of us. We keep a lot of our books, any type of books or video game electronics or switches, like any other miscellaneous items we keep up there. And then around this one, I keep all my camera gear and kind of any other tech stuff we want. Moving to under the bed, we have these nice little mesh crates that we use to store all of our clothing. We have a few bins for each of us, and that kind of just keeps our clothes out of the way, so because we don't really have like too many big closets in here or anything. So, and you can also see that we have a cat door down there leading to our cat's hatch and his little cubby hole. And beside the bed here, we have our kitchen area where we have our propane stove, as well as our sink. Right now, Kennedy has some of her art out here that she's working on, but I wanted to show you guys this. This would be one of the big upgrades that we did in the Scamp. The other one that was in here was kind of older and outdated. We didn't really like it too much, and we thought a nice black faucet would go well with the rest of the Scamp. Over here, we have the knife block that seems to get a lot of good attention. This was actually made by the previous owner of the Scamp, who was a woodworker. This is where we keep all of our silverware and utensils. And then under here is where we keep our garbage and all of our cleaning supplies. Above the kitchen here, we have some of our food and some of our other stuff. Spices, honeys, sugar, anything like that is usually up here, as well as over here. This is kind of our main pantry closet here. This cubby is pretty deep right now. We have a bunch of stuff just kind of thrown in there. And then we have our fridge here, which doesn't seem that big on the outside, but it actually is pretty deep on the inside. And just for the two of us, this works pretty well. We have quite a lot of extra things in here right now that aren't exactly food, but it works pretty well as well. It has a nice little freezer in here that is also pretty deep, that right now for some reason we just have a bunch of frozen raspberries in. Below the fridge here, we have this drawer, which we just have some pots and pans, and our cat is kind of running around here. Don't go in there. Okay, he might go in there, but we have some pots and pans and stuff in there. All right, as well, under kind of on the floor here, there's a lot of like under area under some of these cabinets, as well on this side, which we'll get to, and that is kind of where we put all of our shoes. We have quite a few pairs of shoes there. They can just be out of the way when we don't want them to be out, or sometimes you don't use certain pairs of shoes, so we'll either keep them under there if they fit, or we can keep them in the Jeep. Some of the stuff as well, because Kennedy does a lot of art stuff. She has like a printer that we like taking around, and we have some other bigger things that we don't always need, but we do want to bring with us. So we do keep all of that in the Jeep, and I can go maybe in another video and kind of talk about where we keep everything and how we store all of our items and everything in the small camper, as well as our Jeep. So that might be for another video. But the other thing about this camper that we really like is that there's this nice fan above the bed that we almost have on most of the time, especially when it's nice out. It just really helps with airflow, especially if you have some windows open to keep it nice and cool in here. We also have this really nice skylight, which if you kind of look up there, that right there is our Starlink. But we have Starlink here so we can work and game and do anything else we'd like to do. Moving on over here, this is our dinette side. Right now it is kind of a mess right now, but this is kind of where I work and game, and this is partially where Kennedy works, and we do most of our stuff here. And it doesn't look very big, and it's not really that big, but it actually works pretty well for what we're doing. We got our dinette cushions here. Right here is the fuse box, as well as a gauge to show us our battery level. And then under here is just where the converter and some other stuff are. All right, up here is where we keep some of our water bottles, as well as most of the cat and dog stuff. We have a spare leash up here. We have some bear spray, anything we might need, just in case. Some other stuff as well. This is where I work. This is where I game. So right now my gaming setup's kind of out. This is where we keep my PC, my gaming PC that I run out of my small camper. So if you want to know how I game, I suppose that would be another video as well, because I can game and pretty much do anything I want out of our small camper. and still keep a fully custom gaming PC in here, and it runs perfect. We also have just some cable management. It is kind of messy over here, but it is what it is. Works for us. As well, right now, we have some backpacks that we store some stuff in that we kind of flop back and forth depending on where we're at. And those are some of Kennedy's art canvases. Now down here we have our heater. We've actually had a propane leak out on some of the regulator and the hoses of the propane. So we've actually had to replace those. I can show you guys that in a minute. We keep the cat's food and water, as well as a bowl for the dog. This is where they eat. And then right here we keep a safe box just full of some stuff, and our sweeper. It's a little sweeper that we keep in here that we really like. Moving on to this room here, which is our bathroom. This is probably quite the mess right now. So we haven't had this hooked up yet because we are still technically winterized, so we have no water in the camper at the moment. But right now we have some plants of Kennedy's that she wanted to keep in here for now, as well as any of our bathroom stuff. We have this multi-slot phone holder or laundry holder, whatever you want to call it. It is command hooked to the wall in here, and this is where we keep all of our toiletry stuff, any bathroom supplies. We also have a garbage bag in here at the moment, just because it is nice to have a full-size garbage bag in here, because that little one can get filled up pretty quickly. Now, right next to the bathroom, we have these two cubbies where Kennedy mainly keeps all of our art stuff up here. All of these cubbies, a lot of the Scamp cubbies in here are pretty deep and wide, like surprisingly. So she keeps all of her art stuff in there, and then all of our big jackets and coats and some of our other stuff are in there. All right, so that's pretty much it with all of our new upgrades and everything with the Scamp. So the main things were we replaced the faucet for the sink, we replaced the propane regulator and some of the hoses, as well as we got a new battery because the one that was in here was really old, and even the people who sold us, the previous owners, they were like, yeah, you probably are going to need a new battery because this one does not work very well. So we got a new battery as well. I have a few more videos planned before we hit the road and start traveling full time, just kind of showing off the rest of the Scamp, kind of how we live in it, where our stuff's at, and specifically more so like how I game, some of the Starlink stuff maybe. But if there's anything you guys want to see, make sure you leave a like and comment and subscribe, and I'll see what I can do.